I am California of the past.
I am California of the past.
I
I am
am
California of the past.
I am Lynn Estabrook, and I am the founder of Lincoln Arts, and I have been involved with Feats of Clay, its very famous art show, since the beginning. Feats of Clay happened because as Lincoln Arts was just growing, Lincoln Arts' very first meeting was in 1986, and Lincoln Arts' very first Feats of Clay was in 1988. So from September of '86, we barely had time to catch our breath before we had a major art show on our hands. Feats of Clay was the result of a brainstorm session that our board of directors got together to decide what wonderful things Lincoln Arts was going to do for the community. And one of the things that we knew we needed to do was to have some sort of an annual art show like all the other big art organizations in the region. And it came about as we were talking and throwing out ideas about what kind of art show should it be, where in the world shall we have it, because there wasn't any place. That the only artist on our board, who was a ceramist, said, well, gee, you know, we've got clay, how about we have a ceramic show? Oh, that's a terrific idea. And there weren't, at that time in 1988, there weren't that many strictly ceramic shows anywhere in the country. So from that, it was a little bit unusual from that point of view. So we thought, gee, that's a great idea. And besides that, there's no paint to run or anything if it rains, and we have it outside. So where shall we have it? Well, let's see. Well, there's the park, and somebody said, well, there's Gladdy McBean, and everyone thought, oh my gosh, you know, what do they do there? That's just a bunch of pipe laying outside. Nobody ever sees anybody working there. Well, the one gal, Diane Yahtzee, said, well, you know, I've got a relative who lives over there, so let's go ask and just see what they say. So we thought, well, okay. And you'd ask the plant manager, well, how would you like to have an art show in your manufacturing plant? He said, excuse me. Are you really serious? Oh dear. But they were convinced because it was going to be a national show, which we decided right off the bat, actually. I mean, why start small? Because the region, we knew we didn't have enough artists in Lincoln to make a huge show. It was a little tiny town then of 6,800 people. And when you went to define the region, you know, how do you draw a line around region? We couldn't do that, so we thought, well, Northern California, well, nobody's ever been able to find out where to, you know, Southern California wants to secede, where do you draw the line? So we thought, okay, all state, California art show, because it was going to be a competition right off. And then we thought, well, gosh, if you ship a piece of ceramics from Los Angeles, you might as well be shipping it from New York. So let's just make it, and then this way we'll get a lot more entries. And you see, it is, in a sense, it's a fundraiser also for Lincoln Arts. So it was a national show. So we put it in a national magazine. And that very first year, we got 350 entries. And we thought, gosh, that's terrific. So we convinced the plant that we needed a space to put the art. So we went digging through all the places, and as we walked through this plant, I mean, our eyes were just, we were astonished at the beautiful stuff we were finding. And it was all covered with dust and everything, but it was beautiful pieces of buildings and things. Nobody had a clue. We thought, oh my gosh, this is a treasure trove. And this is this historical art and the contemporary art together are smashing. So anyway, we were excited. So we advertised tours, and that first year we were going to have the show during the month of June. It was going to be all month, 7 days a week, 9 to 2, come for a tour. And we didn't really have a schedule, and the plant historian and I sat under a canopy at the gate of the plant, and when some people would show up, we would take them on a tour. We also were given a beautiful section of the plant to house the art. there's an area on the 3rd floor, which is the old modeling area, that they allowed us to clean up. And then there was an area in a kiln, in one of the oldest kilns that still is remaining from before the 1900s. And they've allowed us to use that to put art in. It's stunning, it's beautiful. We had a theatrical lighting person come out and create the lights, and we were really, really proud of it. We had a grand opening reception for the artists, and we've always only taken 70 to 80 pieces from the number of entries, and we've always only had one juror, not a committee, and it's worked out very well. But the juror has always been an internationally known ceramist in his own right. So that first juror was Ron Nagel, and he wasn't going to be able to come to the show, but he was local enough to be in San Francisco, so we didn't have a hard time sending off slides to him to look at the art, choose the pieces, and then let us work with it. At the grand opening, we wanted to have a lot of people come from town because so many people had no idea what that plant was all about. If you offer free food anywhere, a lot of people come. So it was free. And you can imagine we had, I think, about 500 people that came to the reception. And it was held in the kiln building, and the reception food was inside one of those great big kilns. And it was beautiful, and it was wonderful, and people walked in the door, and the sounds of the kilns firing, they kind of moaned. And the night light and the light playing, and they were just stunned. And they went upstairs and they saw this beautiful work that Gladys McBean did, and they said, my uncles worked here for 50 years, and my grandpa worked here for, I never knew they made all those beautiful things. And since that day, everyone that works there is an artist now. People can look at the plant with pride and say, they make beautiful things. Don't you know what Gladys McBean does? Which is a wonderful result from an art show. So over the years, it has gotten better. It's become better managed because we learned a lot. We now have scheduled tours, and they're not in June, they're in May. We have an office even where people can call in and make reservations, which are required. And now in its 22nd year, and I hope it goes on and on. It's good for the town. It brings a lot of people into town. It's good for ceramic arts. So it's very highly respected. It's extremely well known, and I'm really proud of it.